And now, Effective Communication with Phil Zeller, CEO, Dale Carnegie, Southwest Michigan.
I've got a question for you today. How focused are you? Phil Zeller, Effective Communication. No, seriously, how focused are you as a person? You got to know thyself, right? To thine own self be true, that classic Shakespearean quote. Well, I was challenged several years ago. I think I shared with you before on the show. I was working with fifth graders for 3 years. I know Jeff Foxworthy had that show where you're smarter than a fifth grader. And I went and worked with fifth graders for 3 years. I tell you what, I learned humility. You want to learn humility? Go spend 3 years with fifth graders, and you'll become humble very fast working with fifth graders. And in that time, I had one young man coming to me. He goes, "Mr. Phil, do you have ADHD?" And I said to this young man, "What is ADHD?" And I tell you what, he spent the next 10 minutes telling me what ADHD was. And when he got done, I thought, well, you know what? Maybe I do have it. I just don't know because I haven't been diagnosed. And he goes, "Yeah, I've been watching, Mr. Phil. You got it just like I do." And he said to me, "Well, what do you do to control it?" And I said, focus. You got to focus on being in the moment. And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "That sounds good. I don't know how to do it." And I thought, how many times do we feel we're in that situation? Somebody gives us really good advice what they do to overcome a challenge they're faced with, even a challenge that we say they have, and they tell us how they overcome it, and then we discount it because we decide it's not going to work for us. And why do we decide that? Well, there's a multitude of reasons, but the bigger thing on this show is we look for solutions, right? We want a solution. That's why you're dialed into Effective Communication. Look for how do you deal with these things quickly and efficiently, make them happen. Well, I caught myself just the other week in a situation, and I need to follow my own advice. I'm going to share it with you today to cement it in my own head, if that's okay. Thank you very much. I was in a meeting. I got a new watch last year, and this new watch has alerts on it. It's a digital watch, and it gives me alerts, and it's connected to my phone. And for the longest time, I hadn't fully synced it with my phone, but recently I did. I actually, my son is the one who got me the watch, and so I said, "Hey, is there anything cool I can do with it?" He's like, "Yeah, you could do this." And let me see. So he set it all up for me. So I'm sitting in this meeting last week, and all of a sudden, my phone is on my wrist. My watch is starting to vibrate a little bit. I'm like, "What is going on with my wrist?" I look down, and it's something that I don't need to read. It's some news alert or some ESPN alert or something going on my phone. I don't know what it is, but I'm like, okay, I just allowed myself to get distracted. That's unacceptable. I can't do this. So now the next step is, okay, how do I turn those alerts off on my watch? Because I don't want those when I'm meeting with people. I don't want to be distracted, because a big thing that takes us off our game and our focus is the distraction. And if I'm meeting with somebody, there's a purpose to that meeting. I'm going to tell you straight up right now, if I'm meeting with somebody, there is a purpose to that meeting. Now, that person and myself, we will define what that purpose is through our own perception of our own reality. And I guarantee you, if you ask me why I'm meeting with you or meeting with another person, I will have a reason. I always have a reason. I was taught this by a mentor of mine, Phil Klein, rest in peace, my good friend. Always would ask this first question when you met with him: why you're meeting with me? And conditioning everybody he wanted to mentor to realize that there has to be a purpose for why you're meeting. So your purpose is there. It's got to be created. So I always ask myself before I go into a meeting, why am I meeting with this person? Or why am I giving this presentation? Or even just a conversation. Why am I having this conversation? By thinking about it ahead of time, it gives me an opportunity to realize an outcome, because I can think about the outcome ahead of time and ask myself, how do I want to feel when this meeting, this presentation, or this conversation is over? And what I want to feel is I want to feel good. I want a positive reaction coming out of it. I want an action step that's going to lead to more opportunity, more things happening that are positive, that says, you know what, my time was used wisely here because it's going to create more opportunity. And so these are things I'm constantly thinking about when I'm meeting with people or talking with people. And during that conversation, as I said, you've got to remove the distractions. Now, once you got the distractions out of the way and you have a goal for this meeting, this presentation, or this conversation, whatever it may be, understand how you're going to feel when it's done. Then during that meeting or that presentation or that conversation, what things do you need to understand? What questions do you have to ask? What feedback do you have to hear? What do you have to know during this conversation so that you can walk away feeling the way you want to feel. So these are all things to keep in mind when you're having conversations with people or giving a presentation or just having a conversation just because. Understand why you're doing it. How do you want to feel when it's over? Remove all the distractions and make sure you're seeking understanding, because your goal is to get that feeling for yourself. You've earned it. Now go make it happen.